showtime. What a day. Always nice to get back at it for when you just got nothing else to do. And take a load off. Hey everybody, it's the D-Rock the 100 and welcome back to more of Pokemon White. In the last episode, we went through pretty much all that was left of Castelia City. We took care of the gym and we had a bit of some run-ins that we had to deal with. King's Rock? That's a held item that increases the power of flinches, but also causes some Pokemon to evolve from it. Okay. What are you? An antidote. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess now that we've finally gotten that craziness out of the way, let's carry on. Oh, excuse me. I don't know if these people actually came back. No? Really? Either I'm missing something or I don't know. Oh well, it doesn't matter. So, and you guys thought then that we explored everything, right? No, we still got this section to deal with. At least I think we do. So, a lot of people upstairs. It was fun. I'm invited to a party, but the person in front of me wants to pat me down. Or is it just my imagination? Want to go up? Sure. I need to check you. See if you have anything suspicious. Okay, you can go. Oh, this is normal. They always do stuff like that at fancy get-togethers. And apparently they're going to the 47th floor specifically. Welcome. Welcome to my party. Please enjoy a conversation with everyone. Hey, Jinder, check out my moves. Hey, have you gone to the next city yet? I learned this move at the musical over there. Pretty cool, isn't it? Hello, have you tried a Castelia cone yet? I managed to buy one on Tuesday, but it's very difficult to get. Sorry, I don't think that's... Is that German? I don't know. You see the dress that the supermodel Elisa was wearing. Whatever Elisa wears is beautiful. A stunning ensemble. She can bring out the beauty out of everything. Boyfriend isn't good at getting out of bed in the morning. In fact, he's so slow getting out of bed that I as a Pokemon to use a wake-up slap on him. Oh, your Pokemon is so charming! I want to keep Pokemon too, so I can use this. So much for that idea. Who makes your Pokemon unbearably charming? A Pokemon of the opposite gender will fall in love. Ciao. Hola. I have to Pokemon to use Sing instead of setting an alarm clock, but I cannot get up at all. I don't know why. Really? Dude! I didn't freaking notice! I think we found the problem. What a dingbag. Alright. This way. Yes! Here you are! I keep thinking that you're in the other location. The official name raider! Want to write the nicknames of your Pokemon? Yes! I have officially decided to give Timber a nickname. hope I am correct when I spell this. Actually, hold on a second. I'm gonna look it up real quick, so give me like 1 minute. Okay, here we go. Just leave that side because you never tell when that could come in handy. I am going to officially nickname her. I've officially decided to nickname her Fried Wolfa. For those of you that do not know, if you follow everything involving with that of the Harry Potter lore, Fried Wolfa is actually the mother of Rubeus Hagrid. She is a giantess, but unfortunately left a bit of a sad and broken family later on. But of course, they do say that the giants aren't exactly meant to be maternal, but please choose where you want your word or phrase to be placed. I actually wasn't really paying attention to that. My name is Mr. Locke. A magical clown who can open anything. My name is Derek. I'll see you again, I'm sure. This guy's weird. Well, now that I've finally gotten that confusion out of the way, got one more building to explore. Perch's ability is Keen Eye. Even smoke screen and sand attack cannot lower its accuracy. What kind of abilities do you have your Pokemon have? Do you think it's a good idea to provide a service to raise Pokemon for trainers? Of course! What, is it Pokemon Daycare on Route 3? Thinking about starting a new business, but it's quite a chore. You know how it goes. I'm a Pokemon fanatic, and my famous in Castelia too. Oh look, you have a Pokedex. How many Pokemon have you found so far? 34. Quite a Pokedex. Quite impressed, so I will give you this. The Eviolite! That is actually a pretty good item. What's really nice, both defense and special defense of a Pokemon will hold a hit will increase. However, it's particular stuff because it only affects on Pokemon that can still evolve. You might want to take that into consideration. I know I say something like that a lot, but if you have a Pokemon that does really good, even if it's not fully evolved, give it a try. I gaze down at the city from a tall building. I tremble because I'm scared of heights, and you're a hiker. Me oh my, the badges you can get in your region. Want to hear about them? Nah. They kind of explain more about that along the way, and I'd like to know more about that while on the road. To Viridian City? No, wrong region. Alright. In the Boston City where I work, I went to see a musical. You heard about it? The Pokemon musical? Pokemon get all dressed up and dance to the music. There's actually a bit of a funny lore about it when we get to it. What trainers on Route 4 show combinations with Pokemon even during road construction. You don't say. There she is. We also had a call in from Bianca to have a bit of a quick battle. Let's see if we can have a Pokemon battle in the gates long, so we're careful not to break the electric bulletin board. I'm the new and improved version of me. It's gonna go great this time. Let's start up our Pokemon battle again. Battle Numero 3. That's Bianca. Always the weird one to have to show us that she's still as clumsy as ever. Her first Pokemon! Herdier, level 18, pure normal type, Intimidate for the ability. Older Slug, barring takedown and helping hand. She's gotten better. But still kind of pale in comparison, though. Next up is going to be Luna. Let's see here. Level 18, pure psychic type with Forewarn for the ability. With Yawn, Psybeam, Imprison, and Moonlight. Not a bad Pokemon, really. In fact, this is a very good Pokemon to be given the Eviolite to because it's such a great defensive Pokemon as it is. And the fact in it that it has a Moonlight and Yawn, you can restore those and the moves up pretty easily. Or I guess this case HP, but you get what I mean. Alright. Next up is going to be her starter Pokemon. In this case, it's going to be Dewott. Level 20, pure water type with Torrent for the ability. With Water Sport, Focus Energy, Razor Shell, and Fury Cutter. Razor Shell is what I was thinking about from before. Her other Pokemon would have been the both of them would be at level 20 with their same typings and points of our Pignite, which would be a fire fighting type. Same abilities as Overgrown Blaze. Survive would have Wrap, Growth, Leaf Tornado, and Leech Seed, whereas Pignite would have Defense, Synchro, Flame Charge, Arm Thrust, and Smog. Ooh. Impressive, but not good enough. Mallows is at level 25. And now, for her last Pokemon. One of the elemental monkeys. In this case, it's going to be Pansear. It's going to be level 18, pure fire type with Gluttony for the ability. The moves Lick, Fury Swipes, Incinerate. I actually did not decipher that well. Let me make sure that's how it actually is. Fury Swipes and Yawn. Okay. Yeah, I did terrible with writing the notes on that one. Alright. The rest of them is just going to be same level. Okay. Her other Pokemon would have been a Panpour, Pansage, both of them level 18 with Gluttony for the ability with Water and Grass type. And one of them would have Water Gun, Water Sports, Vine Whip, and Leech Seed. Okay. Something to that matter. Yeah, that's it. Note to self, never do that again. Oh god, yawn. People have actually been yawning into stuff like that for when they actually use the move, and it says like contagious even in the game. That's kind of funny. But unfortunately, it's not very effective. Not so good immunity-wise if it's on this one, so let's... I'm gonna get used to use this Chesto Berry. bad. You got a little worried there for a moment. Let's just shut this thing up. Thank you. You're almost very close to learning Skull. Just one more level. Trinitharis, but I still couldn't win. Ah, don't beat yourself up. You'll get there eventually. Never be a strong trainer like you or Sharon Ryers, but... You know, since we left November Town, I've met a lot of people and I've been thinking about what I want to do in life. When you look at it that way, Pokemon have given me a lot of new experiences. Having my Pokemon stolen was just really hard and I felt really unsure. So, I gotta say, I'm really glad I went. And I've learned so much on this journey. And I also learned that being with Pokemon is really, really important. Okay, well, I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye, Derek. Route 4! We're in here for one long road. Actually, come to think of it, I don't have any repels. I guess for a while I kind of backtrack a little bit to get some more. Route 4 has 3 new Pokemon out there that we can find, and all 3 of them are really good. You can really go for pretty much any of them. So let's start off things off with probably the best one of the group. Or I guess out of the 3. Hey look guys, it's that one Pokemon that's so good that it just can't make you up your mind for what ability you want. Sandile. Very little what needs to be said about this Pokemon. A ground dark type that has both a couple of some of the best immunities in the game. It has Intimidate for the ability, Moxie and Anger Point as its hidden ability. You won't be getting able to get Anger Point, but you could potentially get one in the sequel to the game, but honestly, no one will blame you for what kind of ability you want. It's up to you, but how you want to use it. I have a soft spot in it for Sandile, and most of my playthroughs are Black and White 1 and 2. It's hard for me to pick for which ability to go for. It does take a little while for it to reach its full potential of Crocodile, but when it gets up there, it's really good. Next up is another good Pokemon with some good abilities, but honestly, you're good with either one of these. Except for the fact that it's a hidden ability, but never mind. Darumaka! A pure and fire type, and then eventually has a ice counterparts in the 7th generation. Or excuse me, 8th generation. Can you say no to a Pokemon like this? How about we talk about freaking Darmanitan? Man! If you really feel like there's a Pokemon out there that just want to help you make the world burn and the fiery eyebrows that there is and the powers of your fist, you got it. Darumaka with Hustle for the ability is great, but the catch for that is that you lose some accuracy from using such an ability. If only you had access to Inner Focus, which is probably the better one of the abilities, because I like to keep my accuracy as it is. I'm not saying that either of them is bad, but there is something that we need to talk about. You won't be able to find this for a while though, but we will be able to find this evolution later on down the road, and to be honest, if used in the correct way, this thing is a monster for however you play the game. All in all, Darumaka's great, just don't put his poop in your pocket, please. That's actually kind of funny, because the thing just kind of messed up for when I said that. Okay, let's move on to the next Pokemon before I really lose my patience. Scraggy! Again, Pokemon with such great abilities that no one can make up their mind what they want. Like Sandile, it has a really nice sort of typing of dark fighting, and man, its abilities are great, but just be careful on the fact that it does know a good chunk of special offensive moves, And this thing doesn't exactly benefit for that as it is. Bing! If incoming. If you choose to go for Moxie, you will be vulnerable to a lot of status-inflicting issues and that you'll be seeing later on, as there's a handful of bosses and that actually use status and problems to their advantage. You won't be disappointed on that, but it's best to be aware on that very matter. I would probably say Shed Skin is really good for double battles, Moxie, great for single player. You don't have access to Intimidate, but I'm still showing it on because it is a very good choice to go for it if you ever do have access to its hidden ability. Oh, and did I mention that I know some really good moves through TM, so that's worth looking into, especially once it evolves. It will take a while for you to get to it, but if you can power your way through that, Scraggy is a force to be reckoned with that anyone can't say no to. Hidden item, I think it's... Wow! Pearl! We do have a couple of trainers out here that we can take on. But lucky for us, you're probably the closest that we're gonna see is that one fisherman that has 6 magic cards in his arsenal, but don't worry. This game's got our back. We haven't gotten the chance to look into Basculin yet, but by the time we do get into it, you might be impressed about what you'll see out of it. Yep, this guy's got nothing but baskets in. Wow, both of them might pick up little pups to have hard items, but we'll look into that in a little bit. Freddy Wolfa, time for you to show what you got out there. Yeah, don't be intimidated by this. Basculin's fast. Even though they're like, what, 6 levels underneath me, they're still pretty fast. Freddy Wolf wants a level 23. Very, very good. I'll take that. Alright. Now yet another Basculin. You know what? Let's have some fun. Even though the one I might be doing is stupid, but rock and roll is going to be some good help for us. I was supposed to say, why did you not use Aqua Jet? Rock and roll actually has some pretty good advantage out here in the Sandstorm, because if I remember correctly, they do get a little bit of a boost in defense and special defense while in a Sandstorm. I think it's something how it works. But yeah, Rock and Roller, you're now with Malice of being the highest level Pokemon that there is. Alright, so we can take it out in one shot. I bet we will. I can know how to call it. The picture that got away was this big. Oh! Hello? We'll be talking about you later. Power Gem! Take a look at you. 70 power, 100 accuracy, a special rock type move. Harden, get out of here! we'll definitely be talking about you later. An antidote from you. Let me guess. Another antidote? Another antidote. What about you? I'm just doing this to gain some experience. Hubert. You have another vascular. Great. Yep. Boldor's now gonna be pretty crucial for what's gonna be coming up for a while, so like I said, I don't plan on using her on my team. But she isn't gonna be pretty beneficial for what is to come. Boldor! Thank you. I like how it makes a bang sound when that happens. Alright. Here. Got a great ball. Parasol lady right there. Got an ultra ball. Here. Got another hyper potion. You are probably a trainer. Probably up there. Gotta burn you. You better have burn him. Got an ether right there. What about you? TM41 Tormenta. Alright. Can't go into any of these houses. But don't worry. They'll become pretty useful for something that we'll be seeing. Maybe in a sequel to this series or something. Aha! A nice little place for you to rest. Very convenient. Glug glug glug. You okay there, buddy? Are you like inhaling on something? I don't think I really want you to answer that question now. Let's switch it up a little bit. Hello, Sharon. I've been waiting for you to get the insect badge. Now it's time to see which one of us is the strongest trainer. You mean the stronger trainer? It's a misread on my end. That tends to happen. Shut up! So, Mishur Sharon. His first Pokemon is gonna be a Bidove on level 20, level 20, normal flying type with super luck for the ability. With quick attack, air cutter, and Leer and Roost. Not a bad Bidove. That was gonna be useful for that air cutter. Because of the super luck ability, like you'll see right here. Never mind. You can understand the importance of the first attack very well. No. It's just a little something called off-screen training. Ow. Alright. Now I actually kind of prepared myself for this one. Next up is going to be Pansage, level 20, pure grass type with Gluttony for the ability. The Bite, Fury Swipes, Fire Whip, and Leech Seed. If it wasn't any of the ones from before, it would either be a Pansy or Panpour, both at level 20, Fire Water type with Gluttony for the ability. With Bite, Fury Swipes, and Pansy will have Incinerate and Yawn, whereas for Panpour, we'll have Water Gun and Water Sport. Ha! I actually got it this time. Let's see. Let's go for a Wake Up Slap. Ow. And we'll throw a rock at you. That was good. That was very good. Ow. Alright. Time to bring out your big gun, I guess. It's gonna be his starter Pokemon, a Pig Knight, level 22, firefighting type with Blaze for the ability, holding the Citrus Berry. Flame Charge, Defense Curl, Arm Thrust, or Smog. His other two Pokemon would have been a Duat, level 22, pure water type with Torrent for the ability, also holding the Citrus Berry. Razor Shell, Focus Energy, Water Sport, and Fury Cutter. If it was the other way around, then it would be a Survive, same level, pure grass type, Overgrow, same held item, Leaf Tornado, Grab, Leech Seed, and Grow. So what I'm gonna do is, you'll take normal damage from Rock, so instead, I'm gonna just soften you up with some mud, and then gotta go on from here. Will you stop? I guess we'll go for a smackdown. Oh, like that's gonna help. Okay, we'll go for a power gem. If that's a special offensive move. You're more on the bulky side with physical moves. Physical defense, excuse me. And you're probably gonna heal this turn, aren't you? No! Okay. Not that I'm complaining about it, mind you, but I choose not to question it. And now, for the last Pokemon. Lightbird, level 20, pure dark type with Unburdened for the ability, with Pursuit, Torment, Sand Attack, Fury Swipes. I actually thought of something else for a moment. But it's okay. Pursuit actually does a lot more damage if you plan on switching out your team. But hate to be the bearer of bad news here for you, Bob. I win, you lose. Impressive, but why can't I win? It's called skill. Now clear to me. The reason you are so tough is the trust between you and your Pokemon. And skill. But that shouldn't be a problem. I can get him more out of Pig Knight than my other Pokemon too. Hello? Hello there. Darren, do you have a second? Professor Juniper, do you need something? Called Bianca too, but I guess she didn't hear the call. I wonder what she's caught up in. Well, I suppose I'll just have to call her again later. Okay, I've been waiting for you two in front of the gates to Nimbasa City. Hello? Nimbasa City's gate is straight down Route 4. Hello again. Well then. Now that we've gotten our objective, to the desert ahead of at the desert resort. To There's some ruins that have become a little tourist destination. Kind of weird how they would turn us into a tourist destination. The last business that I will do for this episode is to maybe look more into this desert resort. I don't plan on going to Nambasa City yet, but I will definitely be doing so in the next episode. I hope you have another bird here. I do. I got desperate. To be fair, it looked like it was gonna be alright, but oh balls! Okay, you know what? No. No. Up. Thanks. Alright, just survive this hit. I'm sure we'll be fine. Fudge. I somehow lived. Let me guess. You gonna do another Mega Drain? No. I'm legitimately surprised you didn't use another Mega Drain. And watch when I say that. But what? Okay, how'd that work? Okay. I like it, that's really my problem. Ether. Sorry, but every time I see Ether, I always keep thinking of Icon from Fire Emblem. Sorry. Got a live one. Give me that. Get off the path. Aha! There you is. Got a Hyper Potion. Can't say no to that. I will say no to your trainer battle. I'm gonna go off this way. Can you not look in my general direction, please? Thank you. Oh, you're not a trainer? Who is buried in the desert? It's like a grand adventure in a story. Who was in this house again? I don't mean to brag, but I'm a dig pro. I'll keep this down so you can use it too. Team 28 Dig! Using Dig in a cave takes you back to the entrance instantly. It is useful. Sandstorms are terrible. Rock type, ground type, and steel type, and Pokemon can weather a sandstorm without damage. Unless you also have a certain ability that can help to counteract or such. Or a way how you can change your type. Welcome to the Desert Resort! Here you can find a newly discovered entrance in the ruins if you go here through the gate just up a straight. Okay. Oh, come on! Alright. Put up another repel, because why not? focus. I know this. Just like in caves, you can run into Pokemon almost anywhere in the desert. You don't like hiding in the pale sand. If you walk there, you won't have to worry about battling. Sure. Talk to this doctor right here. Welcome to the Desert Resort. Dr. Jerry, you have a solosis. Not a bad psychic type. I used one myself in a past Let's Play and served me well. I guess while we're out here in the Desert Resort, we got 3 new Pokemon for us to talk about. So what do you say we get right to it? First off, Maractus. Do you even remember this Pokemon even exists half the time? Well, I guess, to be fair, it can only be found out here in the Desert Resort, and ironically, because it's a pure grass type, it can still get hit and buffed by a sandstorm. I don't know how that works, I don't want to know how that works, but whatever. But, give it a little bit of submersible on Maractus, and that has some pretty good purpose. It has some decent speed, and it has some pretty good abilities to go for it. It's up to you for how you want to do so. Your options are an ability that gives you a full immunity to water, and it even restores your HP on the matter, or one that cuts the water type moves in half, but boosted your speed while in the sunlight. And, well, the sky's the limit on that one. Unfortunately, because since you don't have access to getting Storm Drain, it sucks. Because that draws in all water type moves and powers up your special offensive stat. Pretty nice if you ask me. And I actually kind of think it's kind of on the underrated side. And yeah, I know it's bad for some, and it's not exactly living up to some of the speed and some of the other withering moves that most grass types have, but it's the concept of the matter for what it's known for. In fact, before I decided to go with Snivy, I actually had thought about maybe raising a Maractus and using it on my team to show you, but unfortunately, I kind of find it hard to use. And I can understand why some people would think that that's bad, but like I said, if you can get around all that, Maractus is not bad to say the least. Next up is a Pokemon that I actually think is even better in some ways, even though that's not a grass type. Dwebble! A bug rock type with finally a sturdy ability that actually has prominence. This thing, it made me slow. And it may have some of the worst special attack and special defense stats out there, but can you really say no to that defense? I guess you can for a little bit, but don't worry. Once it gets up there in levels, and you got the Eviolite, it'll make up for it. But what really makes it stand out is the fact that it comes with a really nice move of Shell Smash. By lowering your defense and special defense, you see a dramatic boost in attack, special attack, and speed. That shell was just weighing you down. And this is actually a good choice to have. If you really want to use one, I definitely would recommend Sturdy over Shell Armor personally, because it's definitely got that much needed in his Gen 5 buff. But that's not to say that Shell Armor is useless. I actually consider his Shell Armor to be pretty good, but Dwebble's not exactly the right Pokemon for that particular ability, in my opinion. I would say Dwebble is great, but it's going to take a while for you to reach its true potential later on down the road, as it will take a while for it to reach its fully evolved evolution. Next up is probably one of the more interesting Pokemon. Sigilyph. A bulky psychic flying type, and that's great hit for going up against mated Pokemon that would normally have a weakness to it. But I also want to add one other 2 words for that. With interest. If you want the best Sigilyph, Magic Guard is going to be the best ability to go for. It only takes damage from attacks. Note that I said attacks. This means then that it cannot get hit by weather effects. It cannot get hit by even status problems as well, which is really, really nice, and I love that. This is the perfect Pokemon for a great choice for good potential. Unfortunately, and I've been saving it until now, its best moves won't come until later on in its life, and a majority of the moves is mainly special offense, which is kind of good, but they're kind of crappy. You won't be getting Psychic for a while, but honestly, Extra Sensory is not really a bad secondary choice to go for. All in all, Sigilyph is okay, and if you really want one, by all means, it's a nice bulky Psychic type with some good on special offensive stats, but it's not going to be winning any rewards or some of the best in moves and that it can get through level ups. Alright. Here we go. Alright. So now we can finally move on. We get a Firestone. Good for evolving some Pokemon. I'd say a Pansear. But Rangers. Get used to fighting these guys. Although she does have a Pokemon of interest for us. A Ducklet. We haven't seen one of these yet. She's not in the best place for such. Man, for a duck, you really know how to pack a punch. Or I guess that's case. Heck. Go for the smackdown. Oh, God. Look at the goodness, alright. Yes, it's hot. A Rossberry. It may not be a burn heal, but at least it's nice as it is. Nyan! Son of a! Whatever. At least it has a good reason for us to get some more level ups and some more experience. Whoa! Yeah, remember when I told you that Darumaka is definitely dangerous as it is? I wasn't joking. Then again, and like I said, it's just almost one-shot Afraid Wolf as it is. Just a whole lot of ugh. Just ugh, ugh. Just a whole lot of ugh. Ugh. Blitzel! Perfect Pokemon for multiplayer. Boosting an immunity to both electric types and because of both of its abilities. Thanks. Oh, what the heck? At least you don't get any same type attack bonus on that one, but... Alos! What are you doing? Thank you! Thank you! But Jaden, go back to playing any duel monsters. That's all you're ever good for. If you'll excuse me, I got things to do. Alright. That. What's this? Got a heart scale. I don't think we've seen one of these yet, but they don't come into any good use until something later on. But don't worry. And yes, these things. We have no ways of dealing with this as of yet. But don't worry. They will come into us in good time. Bless me. I guess all this talk out of what I'm finding out here in the desert and make my allergies kick in. Ugh. Then again, it is that time of year for me. Herp de frickin' do. Alright. Is there in the middle of this section? Well, there's something. Got a fresh water. Probably pretty bad at this point. It's not, well, then again, I'm not gonna be the one drinking it. Oh, what's this? Another super potion. I'll take it. Alright. I guess there's some of these trainers that I'll take care of them off screen. They're not required, but just to get some experience in. So, before we do anything else, revive, good to have, and an escape rope. I will take that. So, with that said and done, we're gonna go ahead and end things off from right here. Next time on Pokemon White, we explore this castle right here. I guess we'll go inside anyway. And that's even the wrong entrance. It's the back way. So let's just forget we ever saw that. So next time, we enter what appears to be the Relic Castle. See you guys then.